All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to, again, another episode of Gay Talk 2.0, the ultimate LGBT podcast. We're currently just in the studio hanging out. It's myself and Nick. Chris is not feeling well, so he's not going to join us today. We may have our good friend Elsie come join us for the second half of the show today. And so, for our Patreon subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in and for your support. And so bright in here. We're just here. Yeah, I know. People are going to actually get to see your face, all crevices and all. But anyway, I wanted to just sort of kind of give you guys a little bit of access 5 minutes before we're due, well, actually 2 minutes now, before we're due to start streaming and recording and officially starting the show.
And you get to join us for our meeting.
Yeah, we're having a meeting and Nicholas got us a little bit of water. Cheers. Ooh, that is strong. But it works. And welcome, Nicholas. Put on your headset, darling. Say hello to everyone.
Stop yelling at me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh my god, my hair.
Yeah, you're here.
Oh god.
So
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be. It most likely will be a short show because Christopher's not here with us. We have some stories and stuff that we want to cover and talk about, and hopefully we'll get through it. And we'll miss Christopher. We got a little surprise for the opener for him and stuff, but because he's not here with us. Normally we would burn Trish when she's not here, when she's away on vacation or something, but today we're gonna burn Nick. So
By Nick you mean Trish. By Trish you mean Chris.
sure.
And we're gonna burn Nick.
Well, no, we normally burn Nick. Trish, I don't know, something. Either way, that shot's getting to me. And actually, while we're waiting, I would like to welcome our newest Patreon, Ahill, to our patronage. Thank you so much for joining us. And then, of course, thank you to everyone else. And it looks like once Nick figures life out here, we're going to get started. Right, Nick?
This is what OCD looks like, everybody.
I'll move my drink for you. Hopefully everybody didn't get blown away by this nor'easter that we got. I hear that people around the Cape they got it really bad. There's like whole tornado warnings and everything out that way.
I didn't really see that, but just pulling up the thing that we need for the...
Okay. Well, you just let me know when you're ready, and then I'll go ahead and...
Oh no, where'd it go?
Oh. You have to find it?
Mm-hmm. That's an ad for you. Okay, I'm ready.
Are you now? All right.
Finally.
All right, ladies, gents, we are going live in a few seconds.
Oh, we're not ready. Okay.
You're not?
No, I thought... Oh, so we're ready? We're good?
In 3, 2...
Just you and I, sharing our love together. And I know in time, we'll build the dreams we treasure. And we'll be alright.
Welcome to Gay Talk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast. We're streaming live on Digital Stream Radio, where you can listen live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. Or if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can actually view us through our live stream that we're doing only for our Patreon subscribers. So they get to see us in the studio doing our thing, and also sort of kind of get a preview of what we do here in the studio.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But my name is Tom anyway, and we're here. We're queer. Well, minus one. And as always, I'm here with, well, most of my hosts, but today we're missing one. So all we have left is...
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And welcome you all to
The Dish.
So it's just Chris. Excuse me. Oh, Chris. It's just Trish and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
So I was talking to Nick outside. We were outside having a smoke and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my God, what would she do for our opener?" So I started singing this song, "Just You and I." He's like, "Where's that from?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think it's maybe from A Star Is Born or something." So he went and started looking for it and started listening to the lyrics, and he just started cracking up. He was like, "Oh my God, that so fits," because it's just him and I. No Chris, and we'll be all right.
And it's just like, I mean, you can't really see the video, but like the video, it's so old and it's just so funny watching the video.
So I said to Nick, I said, by the way, have you ever heard this song before? He's like, no. And it's like, oh God, I forgot, millennials. Or are you a zennial?
I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial. Yeah.
I'm an old millennial.
Yeah, I am. Apparently, I am a zennial because I was brought up in an analog era, but mastered the digital era, if that makes any sense. Like, we had access to both. Like, we had the best of both worlds.
Interesting.
So, anyway, but we do have several things that we want to talk about. Today's cocktail, it's very plain and simple. We, because Chris is not here, he can't mix it. We don't want to be bothered with anything that's happening in that bar over there. So we're just basically doing some vodkas, and we brought our choice of Red Bulls. I have the coconut berry, which is the new flavor that they released this last summer, which I absolutely love. And Nick, what do you have in yours?
I have water, of course. Hello.
Nasty.
I never put alcohol in my drink.
Oh, okay. Well, he's drinking water. Suddenly she's a virgin.
But I was actually, we don't have it in the notes, but since it's so close to Halloween, I figured I'd share this lovely cocktail with you. Even though Chris isn't here to share it with you, I will do the honors myself. So this is called a Vampire Kiss. It's a martini for one, obviously. So it's 1.5 ounces vodka, 1.25 ounces orange liqueur, 1 teaspoon super fine sugar, 3/4 ounce freshly squeezed lemon juice, and then a red gel frosting around the rim of the glass as a garnish, because obviously
a red gel frosting.
So you add two drips of the frosting into the beverage to make the red, for the vampire kiss. You shake it up, pour it in, and that's what you got. You got a vampire kiss.
That sounds delicious, though. I think I like that.
Yeah, no, it looks really good.
No,
I would never be able to make it look like that, though.
Show me. Oh my God, that looks so good. But what makes the red so thick like that?
It's a frosting. It's like a frosting.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We should definitely try that.
Yeah.
Although I
don't think why would it be lemon juice though? Wouldn't you think it'd be like cherry juice?
I don't know. Well, you can put cherry juice in yours.
All right.
Either way, it's good.
Okay.
All right. Well, all right. So, why don't we talk about our weekends? You want to talk about your weekends? Oh, you had a hard weekend. You worked hard this weekend.
Yeah, I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday because a lot of our bartenders went to Spooky Bear in Provincetown. So.
And by the way, happy Halloween. Halloween is 2 days from now, right? We're recording Monday. Yeah. It is Wednesday. I have, because I'm a homeowner now and I live in a very nice neighborhood, I make sure that I have candy for the kids.
She's not that bougie, though. It's not gated or anything.
No, for me, it's it's all about being able to contribute to the neighborhood, and we do get a lot of kids. Last year I gave out like 2 massive bags of candy.
You're in a neighborhood where you would get a lot of kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And so I went to Costco and I picked up very, very large bags of candy and Twix and Snickers, and I probably will hit it up tonight before I go to bed.
I'm going through it with my tie right now. Hold on, everybody.
I see that. And no, but Halloween is around the corner, so I always try to make sure that I pick up candies that are wrapped and candies that are not open. Like a lot of people like to do like candy corn and stuff like that, and unless they come in little packets, really it's not like you're sticking your hand in the candy and throwing it in people's bags. And
also, like a lot of times when I was a kid, my parents would make me throw out anything that wasn't wrapped.
Yeah, and it's not good. To me, it's like open candy. It's exposed to germs, etc. And so I just deal with things that are just wrapped, and it just makes more sense. And everyone's happy. The parents can go home, check it. Hey, listen, you can have this, or no, you can't. But I also get the good candy. Like I get the Snickers and the Twix, and the Almond Joys and all that good stuff. So
I like Mounds.
Mounds too. Yeah.
Minus the almond. You don't need the almond.
No, why? You don't need a nut.
No.
You get plenty of that anyway. So, Lord have mercy. No, but it's good. And, I'm super excited because I bought a costume last year, and I'm not afraid to say this, and I'm not ashamed to say this. It was the Fred Flintstone costume. Now, I'm a big, hefty boy. So if you guys can see, I'm rubbing my belly. And I wore it last year, and then I wore it to the bar on Saturday as a costume because, it is the weekend before the official holiday weekend.
But it's the partner's Halloween weekend.
So I wore it to the bar, and then I'm going to wear it on Wednesday while I give candy away.
There you go.
And, every time a kid walks away, I'll be like, yabba dabba doo.
The only thing that I wore, so I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I didn't dress up at all. Every Christmas, I've never been a really big Halloween person. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, like the effort of dressing up or something, or finding a costume or making a. I guess I just don't like it. But I always, every year for the past 3 years, have worn this one tank top that everybody loves.
It is cute though. Yeah. Why don't you tell us what the message says?
So there's a little ghost on it, and it says, "I'm not your boo." And literally, like, it's like perfect for me because, like, when I'm behind the bar, I'm kind of bitchy, and everybody's always coming up to me and being like,
"That is true."
Whatever. So
I
it's
can attest to that.
It's totally perfect. But what's funny is that night, Friday night, because you came out on Friday night,
I did for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. And what happened was,
at
the end of the night, we decided to go over to our friend's house, which is very close by, and we went and had an after-hours cocktail.
We did.
And when I got there, my girlfriend pulled me aside, and she was like, "Hey, this guy that's in there right now, he was at the bar, and he was he's really, really into you and wanted to talk to you." And I was like, Did he not read my fucking tank top? And I walk in and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" And then I went ahead and played pool with Tommy. Like, I was like, I don't know. I'm so. Don't get me wrong. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice kid. But, like, I don't know what. So it was funny. At work today, actually, I don't know what I said, but I said something. I was talking to one of my good friends, another gay guy at my job, and he was like, I don't know what I said, but he's like, "Oh, you've sworn off men again? Wonder how long this one's gonna last." Like,
ooh.
But it's true. I go through these phases where I'm like, no, I can't. I will not date.
Well, I mean, I do hear what he's saying because it's right. Sometimes you date and then you stop dating and then you're like bitter for a while because things didn't go right and then you sort of kind of fall right back into it.
I was not. Oh, yeah, no, I've been pretty bitter in some situations.
Oh.
Never mind.
Bitter. Like the bottle of bitters has nothing on the bitterness that comes out of this one.
Hey, all Steves are allowed at the bar at this point.
That's true. They're all safe.
So we're moving forward in a positive direction.
I think that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so too.
I don't even know what to tell you anymore. Like, seriously, just don't date another Steve. Who was it? When was it that when you met someone? What was his name?
Stefan.
It's either a Steve or a Stefan. It's like, I don't get it.
No, it was fun. This was right after me and Steve had broken up, and then I had the long-term one, and then I had that stint with the other Steve, and then I tried to start dating the other Steve.
I just don't know.
And then that went south, and I'm at the bar, and what do you know? Who comes up to me? Hi, what's your name? I'm Stefan. And I was like, nope, gotta go.
Goodbye. Peace out.
I literally felt so bad because I just started laughing at his face.
Oh, my God.
Like, not okay.
But, for the most part, I think that, you managed to do well with people, and you're very personable, aside from those that think you're a bitch. But,
it's like, I'm not a bitch. I'm actually a really nice, genuine person. However, behind the bar, it's a different story. I'm working, and if you're going to be a dick, I'm going to give it right back to you. And no, I'm not going to apologize when I ask you to do something 3 times. And you don't do it.
Well, we're not going to talk about that.
No, that's why I was very...
Okay, so your weekend was busy. Mine was too. Wasn't too bad. I actually stayed home Saturday and did absolutely nothing. I was supposed to do laundry. I'm doing it right now because I just didn't feel like doing anything Saturday other than working Saturday night. I just wanted to just sit on my couch with my babies and just relax. It was Oliver's 3rd birthday, and so he's now officially 3.
What did I say on that Facebook post?
Oh, you tell me.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
But he's my beautiful little baby, and he turned 3, and then Fitzgerald is about to turn 5 come January 6th on 3 Kings Day, and those are my 2 babies, my 2 little Yorkies that are my heart. I get home and they're always happy to see me, even though I may not be happy to see them sometimes because of the craziness that they do. But they're my babies. I love them. And so I'm excited that I got him a little special treat for his birthday. But of course, if you have 2 dogs, you can't just get one a special treat. You got to get them both. So whatever is one's birthday, they both get a present. So they ate this cake-like little doggy treat that I bought for them. And so January 6th, they'll both get another one. And so maybe for Thanksgiving this week, I'll do what I did last year. If you have doggies, this is really good. You can actually mix some rice. Just try to avoid putting things with high sodium in, vegetables and things like that. I made them food.
He posted a picture of Oliver, and it says, "My precious baby, my little fat boy turns 3. Gotta love his photogenic self." And so my comment was, "Happy birthday, Oliver. You make the spectrum look good."
Yeah, so my dog, Oliver, has a tendency to follow shadows, right? And he follows his own shadow. So if he sees a shadow on the floor, he's, like, focused.
You can't take him outside at night.
Oh, no, during the day especially. And especially shiny
when that floodlight
things,
goes on, though?
Yeah, he goes bananas. And so he thinks that my dog is on the spectrum.
Yeah, I do.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I still love the little fucker.
Yeah, they're amazing.
He's my baby. All right, so listen, we've got some stories that we need to cover.
Before we jump into those, I want to say something, and it's kind of, it's not like a happy thing, but I know it's not in our notes, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that there was yet another mass shooting.
Yes, there was.
And it happened in Pittsburgh at a synagogue, and 11 people were killed, and it was very much clearly a hate crime, and our hearts at GayTalk go out to everybody that was affected by the synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. And I think that, if we want to maybe talk about that for a little bit, I'd like to interject and say that, this pretty much is homegrown terrorism. And here we are, accusing Muslim people and people from different cultures and ethnicities from coming here and wanting to come here and commit atrocities against us Americans. And yet, most of these bombings that, all these bombs that were left throughout the United States was committed by someone who was born and raised here in the U.S. This shooting occurred from someone who was born and raised here in the U.S. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the fact that, you have an administration that's constantly accusing Muslim people and people of ethnic groups like Mexicans and Latinos of being criminals, etc. And that, you have a caravan that's currently on its way to the U.S. and that supposedly there's Al Qaeda and Muslim people and people that want to harm the U.S. infiltrated this caravan, and that's how they're going to get here. I find it hard to believe that someone who wants to come to the U.S. is going to grab a plane, go to Guatemala, jump on a caravan, and walk the entire rest of the way to come here and do us harm.
It's also important to note that this guy is just another fucking white guy. It's not anyone else. And he was carrying an AR-15 and was able to kill 11 people. And again, common sense gun reform. Here we are again, blaming a people that's really not the problem. What the problem is our ridiculous gun laws and the fact that these crazy people, like this gentleman Bowers, can get his hands on an AR-15, walk into a synagogue of a people that have suffered throughout their entire history, and go ahead and kill 11 of them in America.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out is that, you had one of the victims that died. She was, I believe, 98 or 99 years old. Her name was Rose. She survived the Holocaust. She survived the Holocaust, and she came to America, and she died at the hands of someone who is advocating for this recent rise, like this permanent rise in Nazism and white supremacy that's coming up as a result, strictly, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that it is coming up as a result of the rhetoric that's coming out of the White House, and specifically the president. Hashtag not mine, but nonetheless, his rhetoric has fed this. If we go back and we look at all of the situations that were all of the things that have happened, for example, Charlottesville, and his inability to denounce that behavior and that type of activity has really led to what we're seeing so prevalent today in most of the killings.
So, Sarah, I can't fuckably stand her. I have to bring this up. So talking about this, she was asked what it would take to stop mass shootings, and her response, I think if I had a good answer for that, I think everybody in this country would support it. If anybody knows the answer, I think certainly this administration would be all ears. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know what
how many fucking people have said common sense gun reform? Don't let the NRA basically control the government by their money and their power. Make some changes. That's what's going to change.
I agree. And we've been saying
this dumb fucking PR person in our White House literally just made a fool of herself.
And the thing is, it's not nothing new, right? When Sandy Hook happened, when Pulse happened, when Las Vegas happened, when all of these school shootings that are still continuously happening, we keep saying that there needs to be some sort of sensible gun control reform. And unfortunately, we don't have the numbers to pass anything substantial in Congress, and we have an opportunity to change.
Well, it's not even about that, though. Well, I mean, maybe it is, but at the end of the day, the NRA control so much because they have so much money, and all it is a money game. Whether it's a Democrat or Republican, and I hate to think this way. There are some really amazing Democrats that will stand up and say the right thing.
Of course, Chris Murphy.
Exactly. But there are a lot of people that won't because lobbyists provide them money for their campaigns. And until we get rid of lobbyists themselves, we're fucked.
Yeah, you're right. And
there's got to be a better way to come to the government and ask for support without controlling their entire campaign and their entire structure. They're riding on false promises because of these lobbyists.
Yeah, well, I think that we need to take away the ability for corporations and interest groups from being able to, sway some of these people in voting and doing and passing legislation that benefits them. We need to be able to say, okay, the only way you're going to be able to make money is if you go to the people. No more super PACs. No more big interest corporations giving donations to political candidates that and then go to Congress and do their bidding. They favor legislation that favors corporations rather than the average human being. We're seeing a lot of rollbacks on things, for example, that take care of our environment, and a lot of environmental protections, one by one, are being erased. And I think that that's important that we realize that the only reason why this is happening is because we have companies like oil companies, Exxon, or other companies. I'm not picking on Exxon, but I'm just saying, like just giving you an example of the type of companies that are targeting certain politicians to do their bidding so that they can go in and drill and do some frackling and drilling in areas. For example, there's this whole thing happening right now in Alaska, in where we have federally protected waters that are now being allowed to be drilled for oil, and all you need is just a massive oil spill to really take an ecosystem that's just so pristine and
dying,
ruin it, and completely ruin it. And a lot of people don't realize that, I believe that that's called the Bering Strait, the sea between Russia and Alaska.
You're asking the wrong person.
That passage there, that whole entire sea there, that ocean, that part of the ocean is very vital for fishing, for fisheries, for sustenance, for human sustenance. And a catastrophe like that, like an oil spill, of a huge magnitude, like the Exxon Valdez, or like the Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, could be extremely devastating to the wildlife, salmon, and other like whales and stuff that go up and down, from through the Pacific Ocean. And so, until we get rid of special interest ability to actually do large contributions to politicians, we're not going to see that change.
And we need to get rid of Trump. We should also talk about the fact that how much money has he raised for his upcoming campaign? This is turning into a shit show. I think it's
we're 2 years away.
Yeah, and I think he's already. Last time I checked, it was like something like 7.1 million.
It's just freaking crazy. You can feed an entire population of people on that.
You don't need that much money. This is turning into a reality TV show. And guess what, guys? It's not a reality TV show. No. It's the fucking presidential position of the United States of America.
We knew it was going to be a reality shit show the moment he was elected. So, I mean...
Even though I did like Hillary's shoulder shake.
Right, the little shimmy. Oh, my God, that was amazing. All right, so listen. Let's cover a couple of stories that we have, so then we can go on break and do what we need to do, and then we can come back and cover more stories that we have. So, it didn't really take long. As we know, we've been talking about this for the past couple of episodes. There's an initiative within the administration to actually start scrubbing away or removing rights for our transgender brothers and sisters in this country. And after announcing their plans, the government really didn't take that long to start scrubbing a lot of the government websites from any mentioning of transgender men and women, or transgender period. So I was reading a story. This story comes to you from Medium. I believe it's medium.com. It is the same website that our dear Dr. Evan Goldstein has his blog on. And Phelan Fairchild is the author of this. And she basically stated the following. They weren't kidding when they said that their intent was to erase us from existence. The official website of the United States Health Department and offices of civil rights have removed all language applying to transgender identities as the effort to delegitimize between 1.4 and 1.6 million transgender Americans all across our nation. After the initial memo leaked, exchanges between 5 separate government bodies, including the aforementioned, along with the Department of Education, the Department of Justice, and the Department of Labor, marches and protests erupted on the streets of the U.S. and at the gates of the White House to quell the growing tensions between transgender people and our allies. Donald Trump, I said Trump, really it said Trump, told reporters the following day that nothing has been decided. We're still talking about what to do with the transgender. He went on to say, I am protecting everybody. All right. So I think that's enough. We get the point of the article, but here's what I'm going to say. you're protecting everybody. Since you became the leader of the free world, right? Because we don't even think you are that at all. You have on several occasions, including the transgender military ban that you instituted, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, which the Department of the Military decided not to follow. They were just going to go with whatever was already established. On many occasions, you have come out against the transgender community. There is no secret where your allegiances lie, where your vice president's allegiances lie, and those that follow you where their allegiances lie. They're not fond of the LGBT community, and given any opportunity, you would take any steps to bring down a community that has done nothing but bring positivity to this country, a little bit of flair, if I must add, and some fabulousness. And we are contributing in society in ways that you would never be able to do. And by you, I mean Donald Trump. Since 1969, and even before then, but really 1969 was that pivotal moment in where our transgender sisters, and including other individuals, drag queens, and people, rose up and fought and said enough is enough. And we've been celebrating that glorious Sunday every year, last Sunday of every June, for the past 49 years. This upcoming June, it'll be 50 years since the Stonewall riots. We are not gonna just lay out to pasture. We're going to fight. And you're seeing an uprising of people wanting to fight for their rights. We're seeing a lot of people just try to just take in stride the fact that we've gotten so far and we're temporarily being knocked down. But baby, I tell you one thing. There is nobody, not one human body that can last more than 100 years, or that can last more than 4 years in a presidency in this office, or maybe 8. But I will tell you, your time will come. And when we have an opportunity to actually come back, it's going to be stronger, bigger, and...
Well, what's crazy here is, like Connecticut, for example, we've adopted, in our state at least, we've adopted gender identity as a discrimination protection, right? So for a long time, it wasn't until 2011 that they adopted the term gender identity. So transgender individuals, I believe, are covered under that. So gender identity and expression are included in the statement. However, that conversation has not gone to the Supreme Court yet. And they've been pushing it and trying to get it up higher to the Supreme Court because, as you know,
I wonder why.
As you know, it took years and years and years for sexual orientation to be ruled at the Supreme Court level that we couldn't be discriminated against for work or anything. It took years and years and years to get just that term up there and ruled against that. It is covered under the Rights Act of 1964, I think. But it took years for us to get it to that level. But now it's been at that level. Sexual orientation is covered, and it's been ruled by the Supreme Court that is included in what they define as sex, because that is the only term that they're using. There's no in the amendment. There's no sexual orientation, gender identity. That's just what the Supreme Court has decided to define sex as and covers.
And of course, when we think about what they think that means, that's just basically meaning men or women at this point.
No. That's what it was originally wrote as. Mm-hmm. You can't discriminate against someone based on their sex.
But they never changed that language.
Correct. And they're not going to change the language. But what the Supreme Court is doing is they're defining what that means, right? Just like we had that conversation about what partner means. So they're defining what the word sex means in the sense that, like, that covers sexual orientation, sex. And what has not gone up to the Supreme Court yet is, does it cover transgender individuals? And yes, it should. Or gender fluid individuals. Yes, it should. But the thing is, it has not been ruled against at the Supreme Court level, so it can be attacked. And that's why they're attacking it, because it's something they can actually get done. But at least you got to know, in Connecticut on the state level, we are more progressive and we have moved forward in a way that is protected in our state, but not at the national level.
Well, and then another thing that you need to keep in mind is that you now have a very super conservative majority in the Supreme Court. So therefore,
it's going to be hard to get it through.
It's going to be hard to get it through, and it's going to be hard to get a favorable outcome for our community. We've been talking about some of the legalities in recent episodes, and even amongst ourselves, of the possibility of certain LGBT rights being overturned by the Supreme Court. But we don't know that that's going to be the case until it is up at the court. We have to see and let write out some of these cases that are coming up on the lower courts before they end up at the Supreme Court of the United States of America. That being said, it's just you don't know what's going to happen. And, for me, the important part of this story, right, is that I think the attack on the transgender community is a serious one, but it's also, for me, a tactic. It's a distraction from the Mueller probe and things that are going on that implicates the president directly, and he's trying to divert. And then, of course, some of these things that are happening now, like, for example, this mass shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh, it's just absolutely gut-wrenching and horrible. Because here we're a show that on numerous occasions have honored and talked about people being killed at the hands of gunmen who should not have weapons of such magnitude, but yet they still are able to get them and still have them. And this man, all he does is go out and say, well, you should have had armed security at the door. Why? Why would you, being an institution of faith, should have armed security at a door? You go there to pray. You don't have money. You don't have riches. People go there it's a house of worship. There's no need for you to have security guards at the door. I mean, is that the America that you want us to live in? You want security guards posted at every door, in every school, in every business, in every religious institution? Is that the America that we should be living in? Or do we want to live in the America that we see where we can walk freely and go to the store and pick up what we need to and not have to have a militarized force carrying machine guns like they do in some of these third world countries? Is that what we want to become? I don't think so. That's not the America I want to live in. And that's the America that we're going to, unfortunately, result to if we keep allowing politicians like the president, #NotMine, and all these other individuals that are advocating for all this craziness and not pushing back on this man that makes these asinine statements to the country and to his followers and to his minions and to his basket of deplorables. Thank you so much, Clinton, for that amazing comment. But anyway, Trish, do you have anything else on this?
No, because I mean, we went from... I got a little lost in your
I was
in your
having
rant.
a moment. So all I say is this to our transgender brothers and sisters: hang in there, baby. We're going through a rough patch, but I can guarantee you that there is a rainbow at the end of that storm. And for those that are in the state of Massachusetts, Election Day is next week. Don't forget, vote yes on question number 3. We want to be able to keep those protections that were set 2 years ago in that state to make sure that our transgender folks in that state do have the right to go to the bathroom in which they identify with and not the one based on the sex they were assigned at birth. I think that's very important because that also, think about Massachusetts being a trend-setting state, one of the first states to pass marriage equality, so it is important. So that being said, I think I'm just going to have to let it go, otherwise I'm going to lose my head.
They're assholes.
Yeah, so, excuse me. That being said, my mouth is a little juicy today. I don't know about you, but it is. Do you want to cover something, or should we?
Let's just take a break.
All right, so listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll leave you with some music, and when we come back, we're going to have more dish.
I think I can love you better
picture clear. You're the one that I want near. I wanna hear you make that sound from the love we found. I wanna turn you upside down till we hit the ground. I wanna hear you scream my name. You won't be the same. I wanna make you feel it now, 'cause we're fucking loud. My head gets caught in the moment, but my heart doesn't know it. Heart doesn't know it. Somehow I'm lost in the lonely, but it's too hard to show it. Too hard to show it. Danse avec moi, danse avec moi, danse avec moi. Do I fall in? With sun on my shoulders, the sun's on my shoulders. My heart's a winding road, but I can't control it, and nobody knows it. Do I fall in love? Do I fall in love? Do I fall in love? Do I fall in
If you need my hands to pull you up above the earth, well, I will lift you up to show you just how much you're worth. 'Cause we need to be loved. So we need to be loved. If I had you here, I'd wear your heart just like a crown. And if it beats for me, then I would never put it down.
right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from the break. That was We Need to Be Loved by the incredible Anthony Starble, a message that really resonates to a lot of the people in our community. All we ask for at any given time is the opportunity to be loved by those that we care for and those that, should care for us. Mind me while I'm fixing my microphone here at the same time.
Clearly.
But, it's a beautiful song, a beautiful message, and we're thankful that we've had him on the show as a guest. He's an amazing young man, very promising, making a lot of great music. So thank you for sharing that amazing, beautiful song with us. So we're back.
Can I just steal this for a second?
Sure.
So I'm going to put this out to our listeners, and if Chris was here, we would all know the answer to it, but he's not. So I'm a little confused. So I think maybe what I said earlier about gender identity is not necessarily true. I think it was ruled and covered under the Civil Service Reform Act in 1978. But I'm really confused by all of this government lingo.
Well, I mean, it's written in a way that would confuse most people.
But it's interesting. So I had sexual harassment training this week, which was super fun. And all of the language, there was sexual orientation, but gender identity really wasn't in there. So that's why I had brought that up and said that, because I don't think that there's been, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that there has been a case that clearly defined it. Maybe I'm wrong, but the fact that it's not in the language, in all of the, when they're talking about sexual harassment, they obviously pull it from all of this information that they're getting from the EEOC or whatever. But like the thing is, it's just like they didn't talk about it.
Well, the thing that I find interesting when you're thinking about how law is written and how judgments are passed, a lot of it is used, or language is used that really leaves a lot to interpretation, right? And I think that this is done on purpose to sort of kind of leave the opportunity or the playing field open to some changes in the future should some different needs arise for specific changes to language that's not really defined. It's very rare that you would see something like that, for example, in our Constitution, right? The Constitution does have a lot of language in it that's left to interpretation. But when you think about other articles that were written or that were amended, you do have some specificity. Is that right?
Close.
And, you do have specific language protecting certain, groups of people that were put in there. So I could see how that would be very confusing if you're reading it for the first time and really not sure what the intention or what the mindset was going into writing such a provision within any of the laws, whether that's at the state level or even at the federal level.
Yeah, I know. Also, it's interesting too, like, because gender identity could be construed as a lot of different things, right?
It can.
Because whether you identify as your hereditary gender or not, if I'm a woman and I'm discriminated against, or if I'm a gay man and I'm discriminated against, I'm being discriminated because I'm a gay man, but also because I'm a man. I don't know. It's confusing. There are so many cases. There are literally so many cases that I've been sifting through, and I'm like, I just don't understand.
Well, I think that you have some
I
homework.
need a lawyer. Can I get a lawyer?
Can we get a lawyer? Anyone?
Oh my God.
Takers?
We can get a lawyer segment. I mean, I'm down. Give me a gay lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of information, a lot of people out there that are willing to share with you the legal expertise of what, the definition of law can actually be, because it could be rather very confusing for a lot of things. So we'll just have to sort of kind of do some research on that and figure out, what exactly.
Where's Chris?
Yeah, Christopher. He's sick. I feel bad for my baby. We miss him. And so anyway, so we do have some more stories that we want to talk about. This one is a little bit more closer to home, right, in the state of Connecticut. We're also up for elections. Actually, everybody is on November 6th. So As I said before, we hope that you go out and exercise your constitutional right to vote, unless you live in a state like Georgia or certain other states that are making it very difficult for minority groups to actually go out and vote. Do what you can, show up, do your duty. You'll be glad that you did, whether we win or not, and I hope we win. It always feels good to be able to do something that, a lot of people died for, which is your right to vote and your right to have the Constitution that we have and that exists within this country. So
that being said, what's exciting is I think we're doing a election episode.
Yes, we are. That's right. So we are doing an election episode. So we have an episode coming on Monday. And then on Tuesday night, we're going to be doing another episode. This one, we're not sure how we're going to be able to logistically film this. I think that it's going to be an audio episode only, and the reason being is because we're not going to be sitting through one whole episode like we normally do, right? We come here, we sit down on the desk, and we talk through our stories and our lineup all in one sitting. And usually we don't edit our show. During the first election episode that we did in 2016, we actually did cuts, right? Like, so we did a 15-minute segment. We talked about where we stood at that point, where the news was, and then we would stop for an hour. We would go and cook something or eat something and hang out, and we were in a celebratory mood, right? Because like many Americans, we thought Hillary had it in the bag. And as the night progressed, you can see and you can listen to our despair as our enthusiastic conversation turned to a very, very
non-enthusiastic
and sobering. It was very, very sobering. I mean, at the end of that episode, I was crying. Christopher was crying. Trish was clearly distraught. And so it was very, very interesting to see. And, once in a blue moon, I work up the courage to relive all of that, right? Because we have that recorded.
Have not done it.
And I've worked up the courage to actually go back and listen to that episode and to see every 15-minute segment was just torture. As it kept going and going, and she was in the 260s, and then once he hit that magic number, we were just like, what the fuck? It was very hard. It was a very hard pill to swallow. We knew that with that, we were facing a new America, and it wasn't going to be a pretty one. And as you can see, for the past 2 years, we have been experiencing a lot of social issues that have been at the forefront of what this man is instigating, day in, day out on Twitter, coming out of the White House, which is quite frankly remarkable to see, because in a sense that it is unprecedented. We've never seen someone so arrogantly, blatantly discriminatory and how would I say?
I don't know. Just move on to your story.
No, but wait. So unfazed by feelings, by people's,
they don't care about people.
They don't care, and it's so hard. But anyway, that being said, vote November 6th. It's coming. All right. So I want to talk about something that's happening here at home. We have actually 6 candidates running for various offices here in the state of Connecticut, and they all happen to be candidates who are part of the LGBT community and that are running as a Republican in the state. And when I read this article, there's a lot of, obviously a lot of praise for Donald Trump and his economic policies, and people are seeing that, his economic policies are working. And I am not going to sit here and, be in denial that it's not. We have seen the economy move in the direction of where it should be, right? You got to see the economy progress, but this is not something that Donald Trump did on his own. There's a lot of work that went into it in the past 8 years to see an economy start growing and start pushing up in the right direction. Certainly a lot of policies that he put in place and a lot of executive orders that he signed allowed for corporations to gain a lot.
Yes.
And as a result, these corporations are getting rich. So what you're seeing is an economy that's thriving, but the average Joe like myself, I'm not seeing it. I think I got what, like a $20 like credit tax.
No, actually, it's funny because all of the what is it, the tariffs that he's put on companies, or not nationally but internationally, has screwed a lot of Americans. I mean, if you look at lumber went up 75%, steel up. I mean, like, you look at a lot of these products that we're continuous using, like
American companies can't operate here anymore.
Yeah, and so you see like Harley Davidson leaving. You see a lot of companies leaving. Yes, you have your oil companies making a lot of money because of, whatever the hell that's going on there, but it's not necessarily helping us on the bottom line, because what he's doing is he's doing an immediate fix. We need to think long term. And right now, oil companies and stuff like that, that's not a long term fix, because oil's running out and we're destroying our freaking environment. And
our planet.
And if we don't do anything about that, what's going to happen?
They completely think that, global warming is not a thing.
No.
And they're allowing these oil companies and these companies that are polluting. I mean, they're literally chopping away, and we said this during the first A block of the show, that they're chopping away at environmental protections that are in place for a reason, to prevent, our waterways from being polluted, or, contamination in pipelines that they're running through middle America, even though there was a lot of opposition from our Native Americans, and fracking and things like that. So,
and don't get me wrong, we live on oil, but as a
leading nation, we should be leading the way towards
but we're not
energy, and we're not.
There are plenty of other nations that are doing far more than we are.
We had a lot of really amazing initiatives.
There is so much money in the solar sector. There's so much money in renewable energy, and our government doesn't want to. This government doesn't want to invest in that. And if you invest in that, you're in. What's the word I'm looking for? Return on investment is going to be way higher than if you invest in something that's dying.
Correct. Well, but in the short term, your return on investment is higher. But in the long term, it's not a sustainable investment.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that, or they do, and they just want to make a quick buck and move on to the next big thing.
So honestly,
it's all about the money.
What's going to happen? What you're going to see is we're going to have this like little bit of a boom, and then it's just going to deflate and everything's going to crash because there was no investment where we needed to invest. However, that being said, you have states and other corporations and other institutions around America and the world investing in these types of things, renewable energy and all of that stuff. So there is hope, but right now we have a government that can't see past his fucking fat head.
Correct. So, all right. So basically, I was going through the story, and there's a lot of praise for a lot of the things that Donald Trump is currently putting in place, either by that could be by executive order or by different initiatives that are being done by his administration in several areas and several key areas of the government. But what I wanted to point out was that I needed to sort of kind of repeat this again. We have 6 Republican gay LGBTQ members running as Republicans in the state that typically are supporting policies and initiatives that are derived from this administration that caused nothing but just complete chaos. So that being said, I want to say this. You have a right to be whoever you want to be. You have a right to vote for any party that you want to. You have a right to run on any party that you want to. But I want to send you a message. And I could have worded it myself, but I think that our good friends over at the Bearded Fruit podcast, one of the hosts on there, his name is Cody DeGalorians. He summed it up pretty nicely, and he had posted this story on Facebook, and then he also sort of kind of gave a very, very amazing quote, and it read as the following. Even talking LGBT issues. Let me try that again.
Please.
Hold on. Okay. Even taking the LGBTQ issues off the table, any queer person who supports the GOP supports a party that marginalizes women, people of color, the poor, people with disabilities, and a queer person who understands the experiences of marginalization. Did I say that right?
You tried.
Marginalization should fucking know better. That is absolutely on point. You know, when you think about who you are as a person, right? Everything that you fought for. Some of these candidates have children, the right to adopt, the right to be parents, the right to be able to marry. All these initiatives came to you by a party or by a group of people who were fighting for your rights. And now you're running on a platform or a party that is looking to belittle and bring us down. How can you, as a member of the LGBT community, allow yourself to align yourself with such a party that in reality all they want to do is take away your rights?
You know what's interesting? So what this article also says, I think it says a lot about Connecticut Republicans and how we are different. Scott said, Democrats like to paint the Republicans into a corner, and we're anti-gay, anti-women, anti-everything, and that's not true. The Republican caucus in the House already has the most women, and depending on what happens in November, it could have the most gay men as well. Here's my thing. Because I think that everybody should be able to choose their side in whatever they want to do. If you want to be a Republican, be a Republican. You want to be a Democrat, be a Democrat. You want to be in the middle, be in the middle. I don't care. My thing is, what's interesting is you see more gay men and more women trying to get into the Republican Party. Now, that being said, does that mean we're looking at a group of people that are trying to balance that party out? You have a group of people going in there that are trying to balance the party. If you're a Republican, if you're a gay man or a woman running as a Republican, the only way I would ever even think to support you in any capacity, because yes, of course I'm a Democrat, but is you would need to disown.
You would need to disassociate yourself
with the current administration. I need you to tell me you do not support anything he's doing. You do not support his rhetoric. You do not support anything about him, because let's not forget, the day after the election, what disappeared from the White House website?
The LGBTQ information that used to be there.
The entire page was gone.
Yeah. Absolutely gone.
So no matter what you say, no matter who you are as a Republican, you are now joining a group of people that are standing behind a president that, whether you want to say it or believe it or not, is coming after us. And the clearest example, and we could give you thousands, but the clearest example is the day after, when all of that positive information and work for the entire community disappeared from our White Houses, our, for lack of better term, the staple of the entire nation, the
people's house.
Yeah, the people's house.
Gone.
Disappeared.
Not only that, all of the work, anything that went into AIDS, research, HIV, any type of mentioning, that was all wiped out. It was all gone.
You know what I also don't like about this article, and the fact, again, I'm going to say it again. If you want to be a Republican and run for office, please, by all means, do. Live your life. Get on your platform and say your thing. You have a battle. You are on an uphill battle if you are a genuine person. But
this is why we have a show, right? And we can talk about these things and say the things that we're about to say.
Right.
But
and if you're a genuine person, you have an uphill battle. If you're not a genuine person, then, well, don't run for office. But here's the thing. I'm looking at some of the comments like, what about marriage equality? And nobody's just like, nobody just like straight up says, there's no way in hell I would let that happen.
No, they don't.
Logistically, I don't think that. But it's like, logistically, I don't think that that's possible. You're a gay man or woman. You don't say that. What you say is, there is no way in hell, if you elect me as your Republican candidate, there is no way in hell I would let that happen.
And I would say yes, I agree with that. But the thing is, these are gay men and women, because I believe there's a woman in one of these 6 candidates.
There is.
That live outside of the scope of your centralized, centers of mass population like Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven. They're from Groton. They're from all these northern areas that are predominantly Republican. So they're not going to come out and say, I'm going to completely, unequivocally not support any initiative in this area, in this district, that would take away my rights as a gay man. because they have to appeal to an electorate that may want to have someone say, I'm against this.
Yeah, well, you know what? Also, fuck you, because Connecticut we passed marriage equality before the government did, so it's not going to, whether it changes at the national level, Connecticut is still legal. So whether or not you're safe, but now you're walking into a seat as a Republican, and you're not supporting the greater America. What you need, you're not just an elected official for your constituents. You're an elected official for everybody,
for an agenda,
and you have to represent everybody.
Well, they're an elected official for their own agenda, right? At this point, it's clear, because Democrats are just as guilty as the Republicans are in what I'm about to say. Our politics have turned into parties of agendas. And if you belong to a party, whether one agenda specifically impacts you personally, you are required to play by that book. You are required to feed into the agenda for the party as a whole, which really leaves very little to the average person to have any say in what it is that you want them to do as your representatives in Congress, at the state level, or at the national level. So it's very true. You see all the Republican Party comes together and the Democratic Party comes together, and we're against this and we're against this, and we can't find a middle ground. Bipartisanship doesn't exist. It hasn't existed for the past 10 years. And the reason being is because these leaders, Nancy Pelosi and what's the other idiot that's about to retire? He's the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, right?
Oh, God.
They're the leaders of Congress, or at least the House. And they say, this is what we're going to focus on. And if you're not aligned with this, then we have issues. And they literally whip people into aligning themselves with the agenda for the party, rather than, that agenda sounds great and all, but that doesn't work for the people in my state. And I'm not going to sign on to that. And you have very little of that. You have very little of people pushing against their own parties and saying, listen, I'm here because the people in my state elected me. That agenda does not serve my people. I'm not going to jump on board. But that's not what's happening. And you see that. You see that with, for example, the nomination and then the confirmation for Brett Kavanaugh, right? It's like the Republican Party lined up behind the man because that's what the leader wanted. He whipped him into saying, we're going to do this because we need a conservative majority in our nation's Supreme Court. That's the agenda. You're a Republican. You better jump on board. And then if you don't, they go and they start running ads in your state, in your local state, and attacking you and trying to get you out of office. That's called blackmail. And that's what we're seeing in both parties.
Here's the thing. I just this is like such a political show.
But you know what?
Next week we have elections next week.
Yes.
But here's the thing. So so Connecticut clearly needs a change.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in a good financial state. And I'm not saying that it's the Democrats' fault. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is that we need to fucking change. Whether that's a Republican, whether that's not, I don't fucking know. But what needs to happen is a change. But again, if we have people that are not are gay or lesbian or bi, transgender, running as Republicans, I hope to God you come out stronger than ever and you go into that Republican Party fighting tooth and fucking nail to change the rhetoric and change the whole concept of what the fuck they're trying to do, because honestly there's just no balance, and we need to get back to a balance because we can't get anything done. Everybody keeps saying, all right, we have to take it back, the blue wave. Yeah, that's great, and that's what we need to do right now, because this is the world we live in. Nobody can get anything done unless you have the majority, when reality is there are two parties for a balance, and if we can't find a way to work together, then our government's not working. So something is wrong. Something is clearly wrong, and we need to find a way to fix it, because honestly, we should have Republicans and want to support Republicans. I should, as a Democrat, be like, you know what? This is a great candidate as a Democrat, but this Republican, honestly, he's better, so I'm going to vote for him. But I can't do that. We are in a shitty situation because we have to have control.
Well, we have no middle ground. That's because we are currently a two-party state, a two-party system, electoral garbage, right? What we really do need is we need more parties. We need to be able to say, okay, here is the Republican Party, here is the Democratic Party, and here is the Independent
LGBTQ plus party, bitch.
Why not? And that too. And so if you have
starting my own party,
parties,
it's gonna be the Rainbow Party.
You know, then you have
Dookie Party.
Dookie. Hi, Dookie. Oh my God, we're gonna show you Dookie someday. We got him. Why don't you go grab him?
Well,
Yeah, we'll show him.
I gotta get up then.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Oh, she's nasty. But anyway, I'm thinking that, you know, we need to have a more diversified party system in our country to be able to make politics work at a point to a point where they're a bit more bipartisan and where you're seeing people from different aspects come together and say, okay, I don't agree with this, but if you can get rid of XYZ, maybe I can support XYZ. And sort of kind of come to a compromise. Yeah. That's the only way we're going to get anything done.
I want to see a Senate and a House that literally works together for the common good. Because right now, all they're doing is working. Literally, they're not even working for us. They're working for they're working for their bottom line, and that's the biggest problem. They're working for their bottom line, and what I really need to see is them working for us. We elect them. Work for us. Stand up for your people. Because I don't give a fuck where you come from or if you're Republican or Democrat. You have a gay man and a woman and a bi and a transgender individual living in your state. And if you're not stepping up and standing for them, you're not supporting your constituents. End of story.
Not all of them. I agree. Hallelujah. All right. So listen. We have one more story that we're going to cover because we're not going to keep the show going too long. And it's a very happy story. This story comes to us all the way from the amazing Mama Kim, who emailed us to make us aware of this amazing find, which really puts him in a very, very, very happy mood. So I think that this will leave things in a very, very, very happy place.
This is not political, motherfucker.
And it's not, so I'm going to let Trish take it.
Oh, my God. So you all know that I love gay animals.
Yay.
Here we are again. We have 2 male penguins that paired off at a Sydney aquarium, and they literally just adopted a baby chick. So you finally have a gay couple adopting a chick. And what's interesting about this story is during mating season, they were treating it as though they were mating. They were treating each other and their situation as though one had to sit at the nest and one had to protect the nest. And the people at the aquarium decided, well, why don't we give them a fake egg?
And they did.
So they gave them a fake egg. And this gay couple, this gay penguin couple, they're Gentoo Penguins. They treated that egg like it was real, and they literally just had one sitting on the egg and one watching it the entire time. And so
a Gentoo egg.
Mm-hmm, yep. And so you have Magic, who's one of the Gentoos, and Sphen. And Magic needed to stay huddled over the egg using the rocks to help insulate. And Sphen patrolled to protect them both until their adopted chick was ready to meet them. But so these, hold on, there is this one really cute moment that I want to find in this article.
You'll get there, baby.
You'll get
it. You'll find it.
It is so cute. Hold on. Here we go.
Did you find it?
No, but so the two male penguins are inseparable. So I'm going to read this. Ahead of breeding season, taking swims and going for walks around the penguin expedition. They were giving a celebrity hybrid name, Sphengic, I can't say it, and a dummy egg to look after. Magic and Sphen were dutifully even with the fake egg. The staff eventually they upgraded the egg to another real egg. Another penguin couple had 2 eggs, so they took one away and gave it to them. So the dads swapped duties at that point, and then they had their baby. So their baby chick was born, and so Sphengic is the baby's name. Sphengic. That's the word I was trying to say.
Sphengic.
So baby Sphengic has stolen everybody's hearts already.
Aww.
And they're clearly taking care of the proud, doting parents are taking turns caring for the baby chick. But it's just so amazing that you see, like, you know, in Sydney, Australia, this like entire aquarium just like banded together to like promote this gay penguin couples having a kid, and meanwhile we have to fight for adoption rights. But like, it's so cute and so beautiful. And there was one point, I feel like it was a different article that I read, because I read a couple articles about this, but at one point when I can't remember if it was Magic or Sphen that was watching the fake egg, the other Gentoo penguin, because you know they pick up pebbles as like a sign of devotion to one another and they bring it back. One of them found like this like heart-shaped pebble, and while the other penguin was sitting on the egg, brought it to him
to his partner
to like show him how much he cared and loved him for what he was doing.
And of course your heart melted.
Oh my God, I cried. I was like, gay Gentoo penguins.
But you know, it just goes to show you, like, even Mother Nature is trying to tell us, listen, guys,
Trump is not right.
Okay, he's wrong. Like, seriously, I think it's a beautiful story. We've covered a lot of gay animals. We had gay penguins. We've had gay dolphins. What else did we have on the show? Gay geese,
we've
right?
had gay everything.
Geese. Yeah,
flamingos.
It's gay, ladies and gentlemen. Gay. But it's great.
Oh, here it is. Sphen wanted to show Magic how much he meant to him. The male Gentoo penguin grasped a wet, heart-shaped stone in his beak, waddled to Magic's nest, and plopped it down to the buttress there in the nest.
Does he waddle like I do?
It's a sign of courtship, experts have said, but also practicality. Magic needed to stay huddled over the egg, using the rocks to help insulate and warm it. And Sphen patrolled to protect them both and their adopted chick until their adopted chick was ready to meet.
But it was a fake egg.
No, I don't know when they swapped it out. So so they had a fake egg, but then when another couple had two real eggs, they swapped out the fake egg with a real egg.
So they wanted to just make sure that they would be attentive to this egg.
You know, honestly, I think probably what had happened was they just wanted to give them the same experience that the rest of the penguins were having, and then randomly penguin couple had two eggs, and so.
Do you hear that, Donald Trump? We just want the same experience. That's all.
Yeah, but it's so cute, and they're loving the baby, and the baby's super adorable, and he was born on Friday, October 19th at 5:46 p.m., weighing 91 grams. Gender is TBC.
So he's 10 days old.
So in 2 months, we'll find out what the gender is. But both dads are doing well, and so is their loved one.
He's 10 years old. That's so cute. I love it.
So we have more gay animals.
More gay animals. Thank you, Mama Kim, for sending us that story. That's amazing.
Literally, thank you for sending us that story.
that made Trish's day. Because, you know, he loves his gay animals. Well, he loves his gay everything. I mean, who are you kidding? The man wears rainbows every day, and we're still waiting for him to paint his rainbow tile that's going to go over his head. But, you know.
Well, I mean, I wear rainbows. I also have one tattooed on my foot, so.
Okay, well, true. All right, so listen, we're going to wrap this up. We've got two things that we need to talk about really quick.
Am I going to do both of them, or are you going to do one?
I can do on this day in gay history.
All right, so I'll do the first one. All right, so this week's GayTalk term, of course, brought to you by UnicornBooty.com, is vampire.
Not really.
Yes, it is. So vampire is a trolling old man who swoops down on young stuff as they parade to and fro, or another homosexual who gets the trick you followed, and usurper. Sorry, that was fixed.
And a usurper.
Usurper. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And an example is, which I don't quite understand, is come of those vampires, give it mercy killing. They spit it out.
Well, you can have it.
I still don't understand it. But anyway, so this week's GayTalk term is vampire.
Brought to you by
UnicornBooty.com.
Not really. All right, so on this day in gay history, brought to you by
UnicornBooty.com.
Not really. All right, so where I would say Austria, when, October 29th, 1999, the first openly gay member of the Austrian parliament took office. Oh, God, where's Chris when you need him? Name.
Ulrich
Lunacek?
Lunacek.
Lunacek. I'm going to say it's Lunacek.
Ulrich Lunacek.
Okay. She was, excuse me. Okay. Who lived openly as a lesbian, becomes a member of parliament of the National Council of Austria. She served for the Austrian Green Party. So congratulations to her back all the way in 1999. Wow. That's almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's insane. But it's amazing and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I had actually, today I was going through some files because I'm trying to find something at work we're trying to redo something, this sign that we have at work. And the last time they had done anything with the sign was 1999, and I'm pulling up plans and Polaroids and all of these photos, and I'm like, oh my God, 1999 was a long time ago.
It's like, when I think
there was legit film that hadn't been made into pictures in the file.
When I think, 30 years ago, I think that it was still 1989. And it's like, wow, no, it's longer. It's like time flies when you're on Prozac. That's all I have to say. Like, seriously. All right. So listen, guys, if you love the show, make sure that you rate and review on your favorite podcasting service. This allows you to help us ensure that others get to see the show and also become more prominent within our podcasting community. By subscribing to the show, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser, whichever one you choose, whatever you have, whether it's an iPhone or an Android. You can also, as most of you get to experience on Patreon, support us on that particular platform. It does allow you, our listeners, to support the show with a monetary donation, which we collect monthly. It can be in any denomination of $1 or more, and it helps the show greatly. Nicholas?
Yeah, it's my turn. It's that time of year again. The Hartford Gay Men's Chorus will be performing their annual holiday concert this upcoming December 7th, 8th, and 9th.
That's right.
This year's concert is appropriately named "And to All a Good Night."
Yeah, it's a holiday show.
Mm-hmm. If you're interested and would like to purchase tickets, visit tickets.hgmc.org. And also, sorry, did you need to say something about that?
No, I just wanted to say that, it's just amazing to see this group grow year after year. This, I believe, is season 7 for them. We have had the opportunity to actually see numerous of their interpretations and their presentations over the last 3 or 4 years since we've been on the air, and they're absolutely amazing. So if you're in the area, make sure to go check them out, buy some tickets. You'll really have a good time and a good show.
Yep. So again, that's "And to All a Good Night," December 7th, 8th, and 9th. For tickets, tickets.hgmc.org. And next week, we welcome the one, the only Dr. Evan Goldstein for another segment of From Top to Bottom.
I'm excited.
And we are still actually looking for our first transgender spotlight because I have not been doing my job.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
just going to be honest.
No, I mean, we're trying to sort of kind of work out the logistics. We've got several things that we can go for to and from. We do know that we have Allison Hale coming and visiting on the 12th. She'll be with us that Monday. We'll be discussing 1 year later what happened. We had her on the show. She talked about her coming out. She talked about her transformation, her transition. And now, a year later, we want to be able to revisit her and say, where have you been? What have you been working on? And how is life for you now? Given the situation that we've been having. So I think it would be a really good opportunity for us to get a great conversation with someone who I absolutely adore and love.
I love her too, but I'm
amazing.
going to ask you a question. Can we go ahead and put a rubber on this?
Yes, we can. All right.
All right. So Nick announces our show is available on our website, gaytalk20.com, under show and episodes. It is also available as a free download on iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher Radio. You can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0, Twitter, at GayTalk20. You can email us at gaytalk2.0@gmail.com. Tom, take it away.
And if you need to reach out to us, you can do so by visiting our website. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the web browser, where you can leave comments, suggest topics. You can submit a question for the cast, which typically is for Chris, and or an individual host. We encourage that you send all your mail to Trish.
Because I have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. You can also leave us a voicemail on our phone, which is the Gay Talk phone. We call it the Bat phone. You can answer. We can answer any questions that you may have on the show for you. And all you need to do is just call 334-GAY-TALK. If you need the numbers, it is 334 429-8255. And don't forget that we stream live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can access that live stream by visiting digitalstreamradio.com, or if you're a Patreon subscriber, just tune in every Monday and you can watch us live on video by accessing the video link right through the Patreon website. Thank you so much, guys. That is our show, and y'all have a good night. Bye! Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish. Well, it's a good thing I had the mics muted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, over at the Patreon subscription, thank you for tuning in. Forgive us. We were a little bit, it's a little odd to do a show with one of your hosts missing and not having a third person sitting in studio. Normally, we bounce back and forth, but, we try to get through it. It's all that we can do. This is live, and in the end, Christopher was really sick. He did come to the studio, and I sent him home. One, I didn't want to get sick, so I didn't want to deal with any of that because, we don't need that. And two, he probably needed some rest, and it was more than fair to just say, you know what, we've got this. Don't worry about it. You can just go home, get some rest. The show will always be here. Monday's coming around the corner. We're going to be doing 2 episodes next week, so by the end of those 2 episodes, I'll probably want to kill him anyway. So, yeah, he'll be fine. I'm talking about Chris. Yeah, not you. I was just saying that, he's not with us because he's sick, and it was weird, the dynamic of not being able to bounce off of 3 people rather than just 2.
Also, I didn't want to get sick.
And so neither did I. So that's why I said, he can just stay home, relax. We love him dearly.
Hey, I took a sick day a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, of course you did.
That was more of a mental health breakdown day. But
What was that?
I said that was more of a mental health breakdown day, but...
Yeah, I know. But either way, the important thing is that, next week we're going to have, I believe, 2 episodes. So, by the end of episode 2, we'll want to kill him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll love him either way.
We're having a slumber party.
That's right. We're going to have a little slumber party here at the house. You flushed that toilet. I'm hearing all that.
Sorry,
craziness.
I peed and
That's
flushed.
okay. But anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in. You guys are amazing. And as always, you know that we're going to be doing another episode, 2 episodes next week. And you guys can tune in and get a live feed for Monday's episode. We're not sure about the election episode as far as the video goes. But thank you again for your patronage and for your support. Mwah! We love you.